Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. It's weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Let's go over what we're going to expect from this weather system that is headed our way for later today and tonight. And in the area that is to the south of the blue line that I see drawn here on this map, which covers pretty much of the coastal plain from Delaware and southeastern Pennsylvania all the way up into southern New England. This is going to be a rain event that maybe mixes with some wet snowflakes during the early morning hours before the low pulls away. When you look south of the black line that runs across south central Pennsylvania, south into Maryland and Virginia, that's mostly rain there. You start to see where the light blue lines are in northeast PA, skimming northwest New Jersey, up the Hudson Valley into Connecticut, basically north of the I-84 corridor. This is where I think you could see a slushy coating to maybe an inch or so, or an inch or two in elevation. And we're talking about 1,500 feet up or higher. I really don't think this is going to be cold enough for the low levels to have any serious issues. And then you start to get into the Catskills and the northeastern part of the Poconos, the Catskills, and then on up the Hudson Valley to the Adirondacks and also the Berkshires. When you're looking at 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 feet, then you start talking maybe 2, 3, or 4 wet inches, and all of that disappears in a big hurry before it's all said and done. Here's what the weather prediction folks, the Weather Prediction Center, thinks about this, and we're seeing that in the green, not the light green, but the next shade, darker shade of green. That is the equivalent of about 30%, a 30% chance of at least 2 inches. So that kind of touches northwest New Jersey, up into the Hudson Valley and Dutchess County, and then runs up north of Route 84 in northwest Connecticut and on up through New England. Notice that the Weather Prediction Center not predicting, again, this is for 2 inches. It doesn't say that there can't be less than that. Doesn't say that there can't be some snowflakes mixing in, but I got to believe that for most of us, in most areas, it's just going to be some wet snow that will mix in from southeastern Pennsylvania, say, up into southern New England. Enough to tick a trace of snow, which would make it a record snowfall. Okay, looking at the watches and warnings, now you have a huge area of geography, the Ohio and Tennessee Valley back to the middle and upper Mississippi Valley, that's either under a freeze watch or a freeze warning, and that extends across all of Pennsylvania, including south central Pennsylvania on up into northeast PA and even into parts of the lower Catskills. So this is something to pay attention to because we're talking about for many areas, this is very late to see temperatures hovering around the freezing mark, and we could very well see that behind this weather system that as it moves up into the northeast. So it's all starting to organize. Clouds are beginning to roll in and thicken up, and we've got a fairly large area of rain that extends back across Pennsylvania, starting to see patchy rain, and then a more solid rainfall through Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and then you look southward down into Tennessee, southwestward into northern Louisiana. This is where we're seeing some heavier downpours and thunderstorms bubble up because that's where your low center is, that's where your warm sector is setting up, and you can see the frontal boundary runs up through the Ohio Valley and then right along or just off the New Jersey coast and just south of Long Island. You have very cold air with a high in North Dakota moving down through the Great Lakes. This would have been very interesting to see if we had had this in the standard winter months instead of getting it just now. So here's what WPC is seeing today. I'm sorry, what SPC is seeing, the Storm Prediction Center. Slight risk across the Gulf Coast from southeast Texas into southern Alabama, just about going into the Florida Panhandle as a marginal risk of severe weather. And with regards to the weekend, not seeing any severe weather risk for Saturday, not seeing any severe weather risk for Sunday. The low center is forming as we showed you down in the Tennessee Valley. It'll run up very quickly to Washington, D.C., Baltimore during the overnight. And then eventually by tomorrow morning, it'll be sitting uh, just east of Cape Cod in the Gulf of Maine and strengthening. And of course, this is going to tighten the pressure gradient up here. Once all the precipitation ends, it's going to be a windy and very cold day on Saturday. We're probably going to see temperatures hard pressed to get out of the 40s. Some places may not make it much above the low and mid 40s, and there might even be a few rain or snow showers scattered around with this cold, unstable air. And we'll still have a bit of a pressure gradient left over into Sunday morning, but I think Mother's Day should be a better day all the way around. Here's how it looks on the new NAM, which just came out, and it's actually backed off from all that heavy bluish snow that it had just a couple of runs ago. Now, really kind of minimizing it as that low goes by. I really think, given what we're seeing with the upper air, that sort of makes sense as the low moves on up to the northeast. We have a windy day for Saturday, and again, as we said, temperatures are going to be hard pressed to get out of the 40s, and then we'll start to see some improvement in the wind and in the temperatures come Sunday. We should be back up into the 50s for Mother's Day. We'll also have arriving clouds. We have low pressure dropping southeast from the Great Lakes. There's another low that's going to be moving across Florida with heavy rain late Saturday night into Sunday afternoon. Those systems are going to stay separate, but the northern feature is going to bring in some showers perhaps later Sunday night or on Monday, and then it moves away to the northeast and will turn drier after that for Tuesday into Wednesday, and maybe another weather system coming toward the end of the end of next week. One good piece of good news is the fact that I think we're going to see this pattern finally start to moderate as we move through the latter part of next week and get past, say, the 15th or 16th of May. And things will start to settle down, and maybe we could get some warmer weather in here by the time we get to the end of the month. So, as I showed you, if we see a few snowflakes and it just goes down officially as a trace, for many areas that would actually be a record snowfall for the month of May. So, 75 million people are not going to be seeing a major May snowstorm, nor is the cold anything you can't handle. It's just that we sort of had enough of temperatures getting down to 32 at night, and we want that warm weather to come. So hopefully it will do that very soon. Have a good rest of your day. Try and stay dry as that rain moves in as we go through the rest of this Friday, and maybe we'll see a few wet snowflakes during tonight. And we'll see you later this evening at 7 o'clock on the Joe and Joe Weather Show on my YouTube channel.